Welcome back to Stoic Saga. Today we're tackling a challenge many of us face, dealing with people who don't respect us. Disrespect can shake our confidence, test our patience, and disturb our peace. But today we're covering 10 effective strategies to handle disrespect with strength, grace, and self-respect. These approaches are about setting boundaries, protecting your peace, and staying true to yourself, no matter how others act. So if you're ready to build resilience and keep negativity at bay, you're in the right place. If you find this episode helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, and share with someone who could benefit from these insights. Let's keep building a community of strength and respect together. 1. Set clear boundaries. The first strategy for handling disrespect is to set clear boundaries. Boundaries are essential for protecting your peace and well-being, especially when dealing with people who don't show you respect. Establishing firm limits communicates that certain behaviors are not acceptable and that you value your personal space, time, and emotional health. Clear boundaries make it easier to manage disrespectful people, as they know exactly where you stand and what you won't tolerate. Setting boundaries can feel challenging, especially if you're naturally accommodating or find it difficult to say no. However, without boundaries, others may take advantage of your kindness or disregard your needs. Boundaries remind others that your respect matters and that you won't allow them to cross certain lines. Think of boundaries as a form of self-respect that empowers you to take control of your interactions and protect your energy. In Stoic philosophy, there's a focus on controlling what we can and letting go of what we cannot. Setting boundaries is a way of taking control of your actions and responses while acknowledging that you can't change how others behave. By drawing clear lines, you create a protective barrier around your peace, focusing on what you can control, your own choices. A practical way to set boundaries is to be direct and clear in your communication. If someone's behavior is disrespectful, let them know calmly and assertively. For instance, if a friend frequently interrupts you, say, "I'd appreciate it if you'd let me finish my thoughts before responding." This isn't about confrontation, it's about clarity. By expressing your needs openly, you make it clear that respect is a non-negotiable part of your relationship. Consider an example. Imagine you have a co-worker who constantly criticizes your work. Without clear boundaries, their comments may start to affect your confidence and focus. By setting a boundary, you can address their behavior directly, saying something like, "I'm open to constructive feedback, but constant criticism isn't productive for me." This approach sends a strong message that you value your own work and won't tolerate disrespectful remarks. Another helpful tip is to be consistent with your boundaries. Once you establish a limit, stick to it. If people see that you're serious about your boundaries, they're more likely to respect them. Consistency also builds self-respect, as you reinforce the idea that your boundaries are important and worth defending. Over time, this commitment to your boundaries becomes second nature, making it easier to handle situations where others test your limits. Setting boundaries can initially feel uncomfortable, but it's a powerful tool for managing disrespect and reinforcing self-worth. When you establish clear boundaries, you're not only communicating to others that respect is important, but also building a stronger sense of self-respect. Remember, boundaries are an act of self-care that empower you to interact with others from a place of strength and confidence. 2. Don't engage in power struggles. The second strategy for handling people who don't respect you is to avoid engaging in power struggles. Power struggles often arise when someone challenges or provokes you, hoping to draw you into a conflict or to assert control. By engaging, you're likely to get caught up in a back and forth that drains your energy, escalates tension, and rarely leads to a productive outcome. Instead, focus on maintaining your composure and not giving in to the need to prove yourself to someone who's being disrespectful. When dealing with people who seek power over you, remember that reacting emotionally can give them exactly what they want, your attention and energy. Staying calm and refusing to engage sends a strong message that you're in control of your responses and that their behavior doesn't affect you. This approach is a form of emotional resilience that helps protect your peace and prevents you from being manipulated. The Stoics believed in keeping a firm grip on one's emotions, especially in the face of provocation. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, advised, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." In situations where someone is trying to provoke a reaction, emotional control becomes your greatest asset. By refusing to engage, you maintain your sense of calm and avoid the negative impact of unnecessary conflict. One effective way to avoid power struggles is to pause before responding. When someone says or does something disrespectful, take a moment to breathe, assess the situation, and ask yourself if responding is worth your time and energy. This brief pause allows you to choose your response thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Often, silence or a calm, non-reactive response is more powerful than any argument or retort. For example, imagine a colleague undermines your ideas in a meeting to boost their own standing. Rather than arguing, you could simply respond with a composed, "Thanks for sharing your perspective," and continue with your points. This response signals that you're not threatened by their behavior and won't be drawn into a petty battle. By staying calm, you maintain control over the situation and your own emotions, which often leads to a more respectful outcome. Another helpful strategy is to detach from the need to win. Power struggles are usually about asserting dominance or proving a point, but if you focus on your own goals and peace of mind, you can avoid the need to win these exchanges. By keeping your priorities in mind, you're less likely to let ego drive you into unnecessary confrontations. Remind yourself that walking away doesn't mean losing. It means choosing your peace over pointless battles. To strengthen this approach, practice the art of neutrality. When dealing with people who challenge you, aim to respond with neutrality rather than defensiveness. This neutral stance allows you to acknowledge their behavior without getting emotionally entangled. For instance, if someone makes a snide remark, a neutral response like "noted" or simply moving on to the next topic can diffuse tension. This approach often disarms the other person and reinforces your sense of inner control. In summary, not engaging in power struggles is about protecting your energy, maintaining emotional control, and choosing peace over conflict. By refusing to be drawn into others' provocations, you reinforce your self-respect and avoid unnecessary drama. The next time someone tries to pull you into a power struggle, remember, staying calm and composed is often the most powerful response. 3. Limit your exposure to them. The third strategy for handling people who don't respect you is to limit your exposure to them. Sometimes the simplest way to protect your peace is to minimize your interactions with those who bring negativity into your life. If someone consistently disrespects you, distancing yourself can reduce the emotional toll of dealing with their behavior. Limiting exposure doesn't mean avoiding every conflict. It's about prioritizing your mental well-being and choosing when, how, and if you engage. When we're around people who treat us poorly, their negative energy can start to affect us. Over time, this exposure can chip away at our confidence, sense of peace, and even self-worth. By limiting contact, you create a buffer that keeps their negativity from impacting your mental and emotional health. This strategy empowers you to protect your space, focus on positive relationships, and build an environment that respects your boundaries. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on things within our control, and often our choice of company is one of them. Epictetus famously said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." Limiting exposure to those who don't respect you is a practical way to live this Stoic principle, as it places you in the company of people who support your growth and well-being. A practical way to limit exposure is to manage your interactions. If you can't avoid certain people entirely, consider ways to reduce the time and energy spent with them. For instance, if it's a disrespectful co-worker, keep conversations strictly work-related and brief. If it's a friend or family member, set boundaries around the type and length of interactions. By managing your exposure, you minimize the impact of their negativity on your life. Consider an example. Imagine you have a relative who often makes hurtful or dismissive comments. Instead of enduring prolonged interactions, you might limit contact to necessary family gatherings or short phone calls. This approach allows you to stay connected without letting their behavior impact your mental and emotional state. Limiting exposure lets you preserve family ties while also protecting your well-being. Another helpful tactic is to prioritize quality over quantity in your social interactions. Spend more time with people who respect, support, and uplift you. The more you invest in positive relationships, the less room you have for toxic ones. By surrounding yourself with supportive people, you reinforce your sense of self-worth and create a community that respects your boundaries. To reinforce this strategy, remind yourself that it's okay to step back from relationships or interactions that drain you. Limiting exposure isn't about avoiding challenges or difficult people. It's about recognizing what serves your well-being and making choices that align with your values. Distancing yourself can sometimes be the healthiest and most respectful response. In summary, limiting your exposure to disrespectful people is a way to protect your peace, reinforce your boundaries, and prioritize your mental health. By choosing where to focus your energy, you free yourself from the negative effects of disrespectful relationships. The next time someone disrespects you, consider if limiting your exposure could be a powerful way to keep your peace. 4. Respond with silence. The fourth strategy for handling disrespectful people is to respond with silence. Silence can be one of the most powerful responses to disrespect, as it conveys strength, self-control, and a refusal to engage in unnecessary drama. When you choose not to respond, you send a clear message that the other person's behavior doesn't warrant your time or energy. Instead of fueling the situation with a reaction, silence allows you to maintain your composure and focus on what truly matters. Often, people who act disrespectfully are looking for a reaction. They may want to provoke you, assert control, or draw you into a confrontation. By responding with silence, you deny them the reaction they seek, making it clear that you won't be easily manipulated. This approach isn't about passive avoidance. It's a deliberate choice to remain centered and protect your peace. In Stoic philosophy, silence is valued as a means of preserving inner tranquility. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, said, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. By choosing silence, You exercise your power to control your response, keeping your soul untroubled by negativity. One practical way to use silence effectively is to pause before responding. If someone says something disrespectful, take a moment to breathe and consider whether a response is even necessary. Often, silence is enough to diffuse the situation, signaling that you're unaffected by their words. By pausing, you also give yourself time to assess your feelings, allowing you to respond more thoughtfully if you decide to engage. For example, imagine a colleague makes a snide remark during a meeting. Rather than reacting, you choose to remain silent and continue with your work. Your silence speaks volumes. It shows that you're unfazed and unbothered by their comment. Over time, this calm response often discourages further disrespect, as the other person realizes that their words don't impact you. Another way to leverage silence is through non-verbal cues. If someone is speaking disrespectfully, maintaining eye contact and a calm expression can reinforce your silent response. This non-verbal communication lets the other person know that you're present, aware, but unwilling to engage. Silence, paired with steady composure, is often more powerful than any verbal response. To strengthen this approach, consider adopting a less is more mindset in conversations. Practice saying only what's necessary and avoid engaging in back and forths that don't serve you. When dealing with disrespectful people, silence can be a shield, allowing you to avoid draining exchanges and stay focused on what's important. This mindset helps you maintain control over your words and reactions, using silence as a tool for peace. In summary, responding with silence is about taking control of your response and choosing calm over conflict. By staying silent, you show that you value your peace more than engaging in disrespect. The next time someone tries to provoke you, remember that silence can often say more than words and can keep you grounded and in control. 5. Don't take it personally. The fifth strategy for handling people who don't respect you is to not take it personally. When someone acts disrespectfully, it's natural to feel hurt or frustrated, but taking their behavior personally often leads to unnecessary emotional distress. Recognize that disrespectful actions usually reflect more about the other person's character, insecurities, or state of mind than about your worth or value. By not internalizing their behavior, you protect your self-esteem and keep your peace. Taking things personally can give others more control over your emotional state than they deserve. When we internalize others' negativity, we allow their words or actions to affect how we see ourselves. Musashi's wisdom reminds us that true resilience comes from focusing on our inner strength and not letting others' actions define our self-worth. This perspective allows us to maintain a sense of calm and confidence regardless of how others behave. Stoic philosophy also reinforces this idea. The Stoics believed that each person's behavior is a reflection of their values and choices, not a direct reflection of those around them. Epictetus taught, "What other people think of you is none of your business." This statement reminds us that we don't have to carry the weight of others' opinions or actions. We can let go of their negativity and stay focused on our own growth and values. A practical way to not take things personally is to reframe your perspective. When someone disrespects you, try to view their behavior as a reflection of their own issues, not a commentary on you. For instance, if a co-worker is dismissive or rude, consider that they might be dealing with personal stress or insecurity that has nothing to do with you. This reframing helps you distance yourself emotionally, reducing the sting of disrespect and maintaining your composure. For example, Imagine a family member frequently criticizes your choices or achievements. Instead of seeing this criticism as a reflection of your worth, you can choose to view it as their way of projecting their own frustrations or insecurities. By adopting this perspective, you detach from their negativity and recognize that their behavior is not about you, it's about them. This detachment allows you to maintain your confidence and continue pursuing what matters to you. Another effective technique is to practice self-affirmations. Remind yourself of your strengths, values, and achievements to reinforce your sense of self-worth. Self-affirmations help counteract the impact of disrespectful behavior by grounding you in your own sense of identity. By focusing on what you know to be true about yourself, you build resilience against negativity and feel less affected by others' opinions. To make this approach a habit, try asking yourself a simple question whenever someone disrespects you. Does their opinion really define me? This question serves as a reminder that your self-worth isn't dependent on others' views or treatment. Over time, this mindset will help you become less reactive to others' behavior, giving you the confidence to move forward without letting their actions influence your emotions. In summary, not taking things personally is about maintaining emotional independence and protecting your self-worth. By choosing not to internalize others' disrespect, you keep your peace, reinforce your confidence, and focus on your own values. The next time someone disrespects you, remind yourself that their actions are a reflection of them, not you, and stay grounded in your own self-respect. 6. Walk away when necessary. The sixth strategy for handling people who don't respect you is to walk away when necessary. Sometimes the most empowering response to persistent disrespect is simply to remove yourself from the situation. Walking away isn't about giving up or avoiding confrontation. It's about protecting your peace and refusing to tolerate behavior that compromises your self-respect. This choice signals that you value your own well-being too much to engage in unproductive interactions. When we stay in situations where we're repeatedly disrespected, we risk allowing that behavior to impact our self-worth. Walking away, on the other hand, sends a powerful message to yourself and to others that you won't tolerate being treated poorly. It's a boundary that reinforces your self-respect and keeps you from being affected by negativity. In Stoic philosophy, there's a strong emphasis on choosing how we respond to life's challenges. The Stoics believed that we can't control others' actions, but we can always choose our response. Sometimes the wisest response is to step away. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "How much time he saves who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks." This quote reminds us that we don't have to be involved in every interaction or response. Sometimes walking away preserves our time, energy, and peace. A practical way to walk away is to evaluate the situation's impact on your well-being. Ask yourself if staying in the interaction serves any constructive purpose, or if it's only adding stress to your life. If the answer is the latter, give yourself permission to leave. This could mean ending a conversation, exiting a social situation, or even setting boundaries in a relationship. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're choosing what's best for your mental and emotional health. Consider an example. Imagine you're in a discussion where someone begins to belittle or dismiss your opinions. If they refuse to engage respectfully, Musashi's principle suggests that it may be better to walk away rather than continue trying to prove yourself. By leaving the conversation, you protect your self-respect and make it clear that you won't tolerate disrespect. Walking away can often prompt others to reconsider their behavior, as it shows that you won't stay around for negativity. Another way to apply this principle is by setting up an exit plan for specific scenarios. If you know certain situations or people are likely to be disrespectful, create a simple plan for how you'll disengage. For example, if a social gathering becomes uncomfortable, you might decide ahead of time to leave after a set period or have a polite reason to excuse yourself. Having an exit plan empowers you to make a graceful exit without feeling trapped. To reinforce this mindset, remind yourself that walking away is a choice of strength. It takes confidence and self-respect to leave situations that don't serve you, especially when there's pressure to stay engaged. By walking away, you prioritize your peace, showing others and yourself that you value your well-being. In summary, walking away when necessary is about choosing your peace over conflict and protecting your self-respect. By leaving situations that don't align with your values, you reinforce your boundaries and maintain control over your emotions. The next time someone disrespects you, remember, walking away isn't a weakness. It's a powerful choice to prioritize yourself. 7. Surround yourself with supportive people. The seventh strategy for handling disrespect is to surround yourself with supportive people. Positive, respectful relationships serve as a buffer against negativity and reinforce your sense of self-worth. When you have a community of people who respect and uplift you, it becomes much easier to handle the occasional encounter with disrespect. Supportive people remind you of your value, help build your confidence, and create a positive environment where you can thrive. It's natural to encounter disrespectful people from time to time, but when you have a strong network of friends, family, or colleagues who value you, you're less likely to internalize negativity from others. Supportive relationships act as an anchor, grounding you in a healthy perspective and helping you maintain your peace. By surrounding yourself with people who respect you, you gain the strength to set boundaries and handle disrespect gracefully. In Stoic philosophy, friendship is seen as a valuable source of mutual growth. The Stoics valued friendships built on virtue and mutual respect, as these relationships support personal development. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." This wisdom reinforces the idea that surrounding yourself with positive influences cultivates growth and helps you navigate challenges with resilience. A practical way to build a supportive network is to invest in relationships that add value to your life. Spend time with people who encourage, respect, and genuinely care for you. Look for friendships that feel balanced, where there's mutual respect and support. By focusing on quality relationships, you create a strong support system that helps you stay grounded, even in the face of disrespect from others. Consider an example. Imagine you're dealing with a disrespectful colleague who often undermines you at work. Having a supportive friend or mentor to talk to can make a huge difference, as they provide perspective, encouragement, and constructive advice. Their presence reminds you that not everyone shares the same negative attitude as your colleague, which makes it easier to handle the situation with grace and confidence. Another way to cultivate supportive relationships is by being selective about the people you let into your life. While it's not always possible to avoid every negative person, you can make choices about who you prioritize. Spend more time with those who bring positivity, respect, and encouragement into your life, and gradually distance yourself from relationships that drain you. By being intentional about your social circle, you strengthen your support network and reinforce a sense of self-respect. To reinforce this approach, try expressing gratitude for the supportive people in your life. Regularly acknowledge and appreciate those who respect and uplift you. This practice strengthens your bonds with them and reminds you of the positive influences you have, even when dealing with disrespectful individuals. Gratitude keeps you focused on the value of supportive relationships, making it easier to let go of negativity from others. In summary, surrounding yourself with supportive people is about creating a network that reinforces your self-worth and builds resilience. By prioritizing positive relationships, you gain the confidence and strength to handle disrespect, knowing you're supported and valued. The next time someone disrespects you, remember the value of your supportive circle and draw strength from their respect. 8. Respect starts from within. The 8th strategy for handling people who don't respect you is to recognize that respect starts from within. When you cultivate self-respect, you set a personal standard for how others should treat you. By valuing yourself and believing in your worth, you radiate confidence and boundaries that discourage disrespectful behavior. People who respect themselves project a sense of strength and integrity that naturally attracts respectful interactions. Self-respect isn't about arrogance. It's about knowing your worth and not settling for treatment that falls short of it. When you truly respect yourself, you're less likely to tolerate disrespect from others, and you're more likely to stand up for yourself calmly and assertively. This internal foundation of respect empowers you to respond to negativity with strength and grace. The Stoics believed that self-respect is essential for living a life of virtue and integrity. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, taught that each person has the responsibility to act with dignity, regardless of how others behave. He said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This wisdom emphasizes the importance of aligning your actions and responses with a sense of inner dignity, grounded in self-respect. A practical way to build self-respect is to honor your own boundaries. When you set and stick to boundaries, you send a message to yourself that your needs and limits matter. Each time you assert a boundary, you reinforce self-respect, which builds confidence and strength over time. By holding firm on your boundaries, you're more likely to gain the respect of others, as they see that you value yourself and won't accept poor treatment. Consider an example. Imagine you're in a friendship where the other person often makes dismissive remarks. Instead of brushing it off or tolerating it, you set a boundary by expressing how their comments affect you and asserting that you deserve to be treated with respect. By standing up for yourself, you demonstrate self-respect, and the other person is more likely to adjust their behavior or understand that you won't tolerate disrespect. Another way to reinforce self-respect is to practice self-care. Taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being sends a strong message that you value yourself. Engage in activities that nurture your mind and body, prioritize rest, and treat yourself with kindness. Self-care isn't just about relaxation, it's a commitment to honoring your needs, which naturally enhances self-respect. To cultivate this mindset, try positive affirmations focused on self-respect. Remind yourself daily of your worth and value with phrases like, "I deserve respect," or "I honor my boundaries." These affirmations reinforce a mindset of self-respect, making it easier to handle disrespect with confidence and poise. In summary, respect starts from within is about valuing yourself, setting standards for how others should treat you, and building a foundation of confidence. By fostering self-respect, you create a powerful barrier against negativity and set the tone for respectful interactions. The next time you encounter disrespect, remember that your response starts with the respect you hold for yourself. 9. Practice self-compassion. The ninth strategy for handling people who don't respect you is to practice self-compassion. Disrespect from others can sometimes make you question your worth, especially if it's repeated or from someone close. Practicing self-compassion helps you treat yourself with kindness and understanding, reminding you that others' behavior doesn't define you. By showing yourself compassion, you build resilience against negativity and maintain your sense of self-worth. Self-compassion means being as gentle with yourself as you would be with a friend going through a similar experience. When faced with disrespect, it's easy to internalize the negative behavior or blame yourself. Self-compassion helps you shift your perspective, encouraging you to acknowledge your feelings without letting them take over. This approach reinforces your inner strength and helps you respond to disrespect with a balanced mindset. In Stoic philosophy, the idea of self-compassion aligns with maintaining inner peace and self-care, especially in challenging situations. The Stoics believed that while we should aim to improve ourselves, we must also treat ourselves with understanding. As Seneca wrote, "No man was ever wise by chance." This reminds us that self-compassion is a practice that nurtures growth and resilience, allowing us to respond to adversity thoughtfully. A practical way to cultivate self-compassion is through self-affirmations. When you experience disrespect, remind yourself of your worth and value with affirmations like, "I am worthy of respect and kindness," or "Their actions don't define my worth." These affirmations act as a mental shield, helping you internalize positive beliefs about yourself, rather than absorbing the negativity of others. Consider an example. Suppose you've been treated dismissively by a co-worker, and it's left you feeling hurt or insecure. Instead of replaying the interaction or letting it affect your confidence, practice self-compassion by acknowledging that disrespect says more about them than about you. Give yourself the understanding you'd offer a friend in a similar situation, reinforcing the belief that you are deserving of respect. Another effective practice is mindful breathing or meditation. When facing disrespect, take a few moments to breathe deeply, grounding yourself in the present and letting go of any negative thoughts. This mindful pause helps you center your mind, release tension, and approach the situation with a calm, compassionate perspective. Regular mindfulness practice also enhances your emotional resilience, making it easier to stay composed in challenging interactions. To reinforce self-compassion, try journaling about your experiences with kindness. Reflect on moments when you felt disrespected and write down positive reminders about your worth and the steps you took to handle the situation. This practice helps you process emotions, acknowledge your strength, and cultivate a compassionate approach to yourself. In summary, practicing self-compassion is about treating yourself with kindness, resilience, and understanding in the face of disrespect. By giving yourself compassion, you build a strong foundation of self-worth that shields you from negativity and allows you to respond with grace. The next time someone disrespects you, remember to be gentle with yourself. Self-compassion is your most powerful ally. 10. Focus on what you can control. The 10th and final strategy for handling people who don't respect you is to focus on what you can control. Disrespect from others can feel frustrating and disempowering, especially when you have little influence over their behavior. However, Stoic philosophy teaches that while we can't control others' actions, we can control our responses. By concentrating on what is within your power, your reactions, boundaries, and mindset, you maintain peace and avoid unnecessary frustration. It's natural to want others to treat us with respect, but focusing too much on changing their behavior can lead to disappointment. Musashi and the Stoics both remind us that true strength lies in managing our inner world, not trying to alter things outside our influence. When you focus on what you can control, you empower yourself to respond thoughtfully and preserve your mental well-being, regardless of how others behave. One practical way to shift your focus is to reframe your thoughts when faced with disrespect. Instead of thinking, "Why are they treating me this way?" focus on questions like, "How do I want to respond?" or "What boundaries can I set?" This reframe places the emphasis on your choices, which reinforces your sense of agency and prevents you from being overly affected by others' negativity. Consider an example. Imagine a colleague frequently speaks over you in meetings. While you can't control their behavior, you can decide how to respond. You might choose to calmly assert yourself, setting boundaries by saying, "I'd like to finish my point, please." This response places the focus on your power to stand up for yourself without relying on them to change. Each time you respond to disrespect by focusing on what you can control, you strengthen your self-respect and resilience. Another way to reinforce this mindset is through mental reminders or mantras. When dealing with disrespect, remind yourself of simple affirmations like, "I control my response, not their actions," or "My peace is within my control." These reminders help ground you and refocus your mind on your own choices. With practice, this shift becomes automatic, allowing you to handle difficult interactions with greater calm and confidence. To build this habit, try visualizing your inner boundaries. Picture a mental barrier that separates your peace from others' behavior, symbolizing that while you may encounter negativity, it doesn't have to cross into your inner world. This visualization reinforces the idea that you hold the power to decide what affects your mindset, making it easier to stay focused on your own peace. In summary, focusing on what you can control is about reclaiming your power and choosing your response to disrespect. By concentrating on your own actions, boundaries and mindset, you maintain your peace and avoid unnecessary stress. The next time someone disrespects you, remember Musashi's wisdom and Stoic principles. True resilience lies in mastering your inner world, not in trying to change others. Handling disrespect is never easy, but by choosing to prioritize self-respect and inner peace, you cultivate resilience that shields you from negativity. Musashi's principles, combined with Stoic wisdom, remind us that true power lies in controlling our responses, setting clear boundaries, and knowing when to step back. When you value your peace, disengage from power struggles, and surround yourself with supportive people, you create a foundation of self-worth that others' behavior cannot shake. Remember, respect starts within. By treating yourself with compassion and focusing on what you can control, you stand strong in the face of disrespect. It's not about changing others. It's about reinforcing your own values and self-worth, choosing interactions that align with who you truly are. If you found value in this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let's continue building a community dedicated to inner strength and resilience.